Judge.
Yes.
And I was told to come back on, and you didn't call my client's name.
This episode starts with a bang here, so it doesn't even look like the judge is supposed to be on. It's labeled Judge Cynthia, even though it's Judge Kim sitting there. But this lawyer is asking questions already, and we know Judge Kim hates questions. Let's see.
I wasn't told I was doing detention or what. I'm still confused.
Okay, so this is the detention hearing, all right? It's normally Judge Terry doing this, but I'm actually stepping in for certain children. And after I leave, then Judge Terry will be here. Add on for Nathan, right? Right, so basically it's a Sunday hearing.
What list? No one's telling me that I had a detention hearing. Thank you. I'd like to have it if that's all I get today, but you didn't call my child's name, so I'm just trying to figure out. I jumped off of a call because of this. And
okay, I didn't call your child's name because that's not why I'm here, right? I'm telling security control that I'm here for these particular children, and afterwards, Judge Terry will be here to take care of the rest of the docket.
Okay, is Mason on that?
Yes.
Okay, they told me to get on this right away, and I'm confused again. I'm just trying to get clarity.
Okay, so Ms. Lothar, what question can I answer for you?
When do I need to be on this so I could do other things?
Well, Ms. Lothar, I apologize, but with the way detention hearings work, it's not like a hair appointment where I can schedule an exact time. The docket starts at 10:30, and when the child comes up, but we're handling these original detentions.
I just want to know, how do I know when it's my turn? That's all I'm trying to find out. You're going through whatever you have to do. I understand.
Okay, so chances are your child will be after McClellan Williams, before the 13-year-olds.
Your Honor, Anaya Mason was scheduled for a determinate hearing today at 9:30. She wasn't scheduled for a detention hearing. And I guess there's confusion about when we're supposed to do the determinate hearing.
She's added. She's added to this list. It was a last-minute addition.
So she's doing a detention hearing instead of a determinate hearing today?
That's what I was told. I didn't make that decision. I was told that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
All right, so this is Isaiah Frazier?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Frazier, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. So when a child's brought to our detention facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days, and I have to make the decision to keep you in custody or to release you.
Yes, sir.
Keep you in custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 business days to make the same decision. You have the right to remain silent, but if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. And you have the right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I will provide one for you.
Yes,
sir. All right, so Mr. Frazier, currently, what I see is you were brought in, you were 12 years old for an assault case. Then, while that case was supervisory caution, so kind of pending, you got arrested for burglary of a vehicle, which you got deferred prosecution for. And then you're still 12 years old. There's a terroristic threat causing fear of imminent bodily injury and an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which used a handgun. And then you end up with a pending case. Let's see, in February of this year, you were brought in or arrested for criminal trespass. A month later, arrested for robbery involving a firearm. And so now, you were referred by Arlington Police for aggravated robbery. Victim called, said she got robbed. She posted about a Sony PlayStation and a microphone on Snapchat. Suspects contacted her, showed up in a Toyota. Let's see. Driver stayed in the vehicle with the other suspects, met about the items. First suspect, black male, 5'9", wearing a black hoodie. Second, black male, 4'10", wearing a red shirt and jeans. Was talking to the suspects, hit in the face and tackled by the juvenile, while the other suspect pointed a gun at him. demanded the PlayStation and microphone, threatened to shoot him, took the items, and drove away in the car. So they took a picture of the license plate, and the detective found out the vehicle was registered to Amari Williams, who had an active warrant. Checked the phone numbers from the phone calls linked to Isaiah Frazier, and then identified him in the photo lineup. All right, so Mr. Frazier, it looks like you have, I guess it wasn't pending cases, but you came in here at the end of March and February. This all started since you were 12 years old. Now you're escalating into having a gun, right? Robbing people. I find children with guns very disturbing, and I think it's a danger to yourself and the community to release you. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. All right? Thank you, Mr. Frazier. Yes, sir.
I didn't have no gun. I had a BB gun and
Okay, Mr. Frazier.
I was in
Mr. Frazier, I'm going to cut you off. Here's the thing. You have the right to remain silent. I don't want you to put yourself in a spot and say anything that may make your attorney's job harder.
I know,
okay,
sir. I was gonna say.
Well, Mr. Frazier, okay? I'm doing this for your own good. You may have important things to tell, but this is not your trial. Do you understand? I'm not figuring out if you did or didn't do it. My question right now is, are you a danger to yourself and the community? Should I release you? Is there adequate supervision at home? Honestly, I'm probably thinking, based on your mom, what I can tell by her body language, is if you just listen to your mom, you'd be all right. But you're too smart or too good for her that you're not going to listen to what she has to say, and you're going to do your own thing because you think you're a grown man already, and you're not. You're a kid.
Yes,
and
sir.
you're playing a dangerous game. You're coming in here once every 3 or 4 months since you were 12 years old, and you're going to either end up at TDC or dead, and it's my job to prevent those two. And I think your mom and I are on the same page.
Yes, sir.
That we want to avoid that. All right. So listen to your mom, listen to your attorney. We'll figure out what happens. If you did nothing wrong, you have nothing to worry about.
Yes,
If
sir.
you did something wrong, then this could end up really bad for you. And rely on your attorney to help you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Frazier.
Thank you, Honorable Judge.
All right, Christopher Gaines. Mills.
Who are we waiting for, Judge?
Christopher Gaines. This is Amy Mills. Bradley, the next one's going to be Hauser. All right, so Mr. Gaines, this is a detention hearing. You're 17 years old. Wow. All right. So this is a detention hearing. I'm making a decision whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you in custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days to make the same decision. You have a right to remain silent, but if you say anything, nothing can be used against you at any other court setting. Finally, you have a right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I will provide one for you. I want to let you know, this is not your trial, okay? This is about whether to release you. All right. So, Mr. Gaines, you are 17 years old now. You're on probation for unauthorized use of motor vehicle from July of 18. Oh, that expired last year in September. Then you got arrested in February for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. And then now you're arrested on an adult warrant for criminal trespass and it might be a burglary vehicle. Police were dispatched about several cars being broken into, and the Christopher's fingerprints were found on several of those vehicles. And that was from April 17th, about 3 in the morning. You were arrested here. You're 17 years old now. Oh, and the companion on the case is Javon Sifo, which you were ordered as part of your probation not to have any contact with Mr. Sifo. So, hold on. So, Danya, are you here? Okay, hello. Your microphone's off.
Okay.
Let me get this straight. Is he on probation for unauthorized use of motor vehicle?
Yes, sir. He is on for UUMV and also evading arrest for detention with a vehicle.
And while he's on probation, he got picked up for unauthorized use in February. right?
Yes.
Which
and
we
he's-
let him go. And then now in April, evidently, he's implicated in another on a burglary of a motor vehicle. Correct?
Correct.
With the companion from the case that he's on probation for.
Correct.
Okay. And so, all right, Mr. Gaines, you're on probation. You've obviously learned nothing from this. The only thing that I'm learning from this is that you like other people's cars. Okay. So you need to learn to stay away from other people's property. You need to learn to follow the rules of probation. I want to let you know something. I'm going to go ahead and detain you to protect your community. All right. Oh, you look disappointed. Don't look disappointed. You know this was coming. All right. I don't even know why I decided to release you when you violated probation. I'm imagining it was probably because of the coronavirus. And I think that was a mistake on my part. So I'm going to have a heart-to-heart with you right now and let you know you're 17 years old. The law does not require me to keep 17 years old here. 17-year-olds at Kimbo, I can order you to be housed downtown in the adult jail. So I'm going to let you know if your behavior level drops underneath a level 1, I'm just going to have you held downtown. Okay? I've run out of patience with you. You're not going to disrespect this court by constantly violating the probation with the same type of offenses. So at this point, you keep your behavior level at 1, then, and it can be 1 outstanding, 1 acceptable, 1 unacceptable. As long as it's in a 1, you can stay here. But as soon as you drop to a 2, and I just want you held downtown, we'll bring you back for court until we figure out what to do with your case on your probation violations. You're also want to let you know you're looking at a felony, unauthorized use. So your probation violation could end up with you being committed to TJJD. Okay, you understand that? You know what TJJD is? It's prison for kids, right? So you can stay there all the way up to your 19th birthday. I need to let you understand. I'm not sure what's happening with your adult case. The DA and your attorney may work out a deal where the juvenile cases go away, but that's not my jam. It's not part of my business, okay? So just want you know, you have every incentive to follow the rules. Otherwise, I will just have you housed downtown with the sheriff, okay? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank
Jeremy
you.
Hauser. You're making it simple for me.
Oh, man.
All right, Mr. Hauser, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm making a decision whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you in custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 business days to make the same decision. Also want to let you know that you have the right to remain silent, but if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. Finally, you have a right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I will provide one for you. Okay, I see your family coming to courtroom now. All right, so Jeremy, you were here for assault and violence, which you got a supervisory caution for. And this time we brought you in, you tested positive for weed. All right, so let's see, there was a domestic disturbance yesterday when police got there. Mother called, you were pounding on the front door trying to get inside. She explained that you were in CPS care and placed in a foster home in Arlington. You ran away from there. And so mom gave the report. Is mom here?
Yes, sir.
Are you mom or are you fosters?
No, I'm his biological mother, Your Honor.
Okay. Hey, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for calling. You did the right thing. It's not easy when your son shows up because I get it. If he's in CPS care, he's showing up because he wants that relationship. He loves you. You love him. But you understand what the right thing is to do. And the fact that you did call the police goes a long way with it. Okay. Just because your son evidently it seems like made a mistake, I'm glad you didn't compound that mistake. Okay. So, all right. So let's go back. On March 6th, Fort Worth PD was dispatched for domestic. When they got there, they met with Jeremy's parents, said that Jeremy was refusing to take his medication, arguing with his parents because he was running late for school. And it escalated, pushed mom, and struck her in the jaw with a closed fist, causing pain. Father intervened. And so the police arrested him for assault and violence. All right. Is somebody here from the department as well?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay, you're with the department. All right. So what's the status of Jeremy? Is he PMC department? Is it pending? Is it?
It's JMC, Your Honor, with the mother.
Okay. How far are we, I mean, are we on a plan to try and get Jeremy back home, or do we just start the process?
Yes, it's a pretty new case. The primary goal is reunification with the mother. Jeremy was doing really well at his placement at Hidden Cove. Currently, that will still be his placement if he's released to us. They've accepted him back. They did put in a discharge, but the discharge was rejected. He was doing really well. Jeremy's expressed to me, I spoke to him earlier, he's expressed to me that he is willing to go back to Hidden Cove and start working services to get reunified back with his mother. I did want to request if Jeremy is released to us today, he'd be on ankle monitor because the mother has expressed that, she feels he may possibly run again.
So how long was he on runaway status for? How long was he gone from the foster to the time he ended up at mom's house?
About 9 hours.
And how far away did he have to travel?
I believe it's like 32 miles.
So y'all are the joint managing, mom and CPS. Tell me, what do y'all think is best for him? Keep him here or release him? No. I'm not. Don't overthink this one. It's a simple question. Like, does Jeremy need the intense supervision of being in our facility, or is his needs better met in the community right now?
I think right now Jeremy needs the most supervision as possible.
Okay. All right. What does the department think?
I believe Jeremy would get the best beneficial for him at Hidden Cove on an ankle monitor.
Okay. Yeah, the ankle monitor doesn't keep you from running away.
Right.
So I want you to understand, if I put an ankle monitor and he cuts it off, I'm sending the bill to CPS to pay for the monitor.
Sir.
Okay. All right. So Jeremy, I know you want to say something. I don't want you to say anything because I don't want you to put yourself in a spot. Okay. And I pretty much made my decision. This court does CPS cases. Did a lot of CPS cases in the past. So here's the deal. I want you to understand, Jeremy, there is no situation in life that you can't make worse. Okay, I promise. And that's something you will learn as you get older. No matter how bad something is, you can always make it worse. Okay. The fact that you have a pending case and now you're dealing with a runaway situation coming out of there, you understand that you are starting to burn all the bridges. Like, there are a certain number of people in life that want to help you. And if you keep on undermining their support for you, their concern for you, eventually they will give up on you. I need you to understand that. No matter how much somebody loves you, there's always a point that somebody's willing to give up on another person. Okay? You cannot be a toxic influence on other people's lives. Just like if you have toxic people in your lives, you cut them loose. No matter how much somebody loves you, even if it's your mom, there will come a point where moms will say to the children, you are too toxic to have around. Do not make your situation worse, okay? There's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. Here's my problem. If you were 12 years old doing this, I'd be like, you know what? You're 12. You're almost 6. You're 16 now, right? Or you're 16 next week. As a 16-year-old, you know you're not supposed to run away. You know you're not supposed to end up in your mom's house. You know your mom was telling you can't do this, right? You get it. And so I'm holding you to a higher standard, okay? Just because I know you can meet that standard. Okay. So that being said, I'm not as disappointed about the family violence. I'm not as disappointed about the runaway. What I'm disappointed is you being 16 years old, know better, and you chose not to do better. Okay? So this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and detain you for now. Okay? You don't like it here, but you know what, Jeremy? Life has consequences. Every decision you make has consequences. When you walked out the door of your foster care, you did not think, hey, nothing's going to happen if I end up on the moms. You said things bad could happen. I hope they don't. I hope it works out. So I'm detaining you. Now, that being said, I'm going to wait till you get to level 1-0. And if you get to level 1-0 and show me that you can behave, then I'll go ahead and release you back to the foster family or back to the department. And they can place you back at Hidden Cove or wherever they think is appropriate. But I need you to show me, there's 2 reasons why I'm doing this. I'm trying to talk to you like a grown man. One, you need to understand there's consequences. As long as you're in the care of the department under this court or the courts of Texas, you can't just do what you want. You got to follow the rules. The second thing, I need you to prove to me that something's different about Jeremy. I released Jeremy back in March. Obviously, I should have done something more because you didn't learn from the experience. So I'm making this a little bit more painful. I'm going to let you know next time there's something, it's going to be a little bit more painful than this time. And it's going to keep on getting more painful until we find your pain threshold. You understand what I'm saying? Just follow the rules. Once you turn 18 years old and you're out and you're independent living, then you can make these decisions. Or you're with your mom and you move out of the house. You can make grown-up decisions. Until you're an actual grown-up by the law, then you've got to deal with me. And I'm sorry for that. It's not going to be pleasant. Unless you follow the law, then we have no issues. Okay?
May I interject a question?
Yes, Ms. Johnson.
As he has it sounds like a placement, not necessarily a foster home in the traditional sense of a house. He's actually in a placement where he's receiving services.
Yes.
I'm concerned that that placement will not be available in 3 days, and I don't know whether that's a.
All right. Good question, Ms. Johnson. So, department, will Hidden Cove have him if it takes 3 days or 4 days for him to get there?
Your Honor, from what I've been told, no, they will not. They did try to place a 24-hour discharge on him, but it was rejected. But if he's detained, the 24-hour discharge will be back in effect. We would find him another residential treatment center.
Oh, Ms. Johnson, I know your feeling on asking your client questions. You mind if I pursue some questions about his placement?
I really rather not.
Oh, I respect that. I totally respect that. And so I'm kind of stuck on this one.
I just don't want a 16-year-old with no place to go in a matter of 3 days or 4 days. Just sitting and having nowhere.
Ms. Johnson, so I get that. The problem I have and the counter thought is if that placement was really working, why did he run away? Right? How did he manage to make it 30 some miles? And that's my concern is I don't have the confidence in this placement because of this runaway, especially as close as mom is, where there could have been travel, could have been communication. Obviously the department's very involved. I have concerns if even if this placement is appropriate for him. So Jeremy, here's the thing. I know your attorney well. Like we've known each other for, Ms. Johnson and I known each other since you were in Pampers, literally. And so I know that you want to talk, but she prefers you not to talk because she doesn't want you to make her job harder, right? She doesn't want you to give up information that kind of undermines her ability to be your attorney. That's why I'm not calling on you. Not that I don't see you, not that I don't. I'm curious. I'm just respecting your attorney's wishes. Well, Ms. Johnson, what's your solution? I mean, I need a consequence. It's a misdemeanor. Now he runs away, but he runs back to the same situation where the original accused offense happened. That's my concern. I mean, is being in here enough to teach him a lesson?
Well, technically, Judge, he hasn't committed an offense because he hasn't been adjudicated. So punishment is not really what's on the table. It's more
correct. I agree with you. Not about punishment. My concern is you have a 16-year-old runaway on the streets. That's the part that really concerns me.
Well, there's an RTC. They have a bed available. He's already in the department's care. I don't know if he was on the street, that's exactly what would happen again. So we've gotten to that bridge.
Mom, does he have a history of running away?
Yes, sir.
Like, give me an idea. How many times?
When he was at his prior RTC, I believe there were 4 or 5 incidents where he ran away.
Okay. For how long would he run away for?
A few hours. It's never been overnight.
And I'd rather him somewhere that I know he's taking his meds. I know he's getting counseling. I know he's doing what is possible. That's just me as the guardian part of my job.
So, this is what I'm going to do. Where's this back? No, that's right, I have to do that. All right, Jeremy, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a chance. But I'm gonna let you know straight up, I've run out of patience with you. I just have. I wanna let you know, because at the end of the day, we have to know what the options are, what the potential outcomes are, the potential consequences. Because you're looking at this family violence case, you do have the chance. I cannot send you to TJJD because it's a misdemeanor. But I can certainly send you to placement, right? For mental health treatment, for whatever. And so I want to let you know that as a result of everything that's going on, I could be sending you to not TJJD, but to a placement out of state. All right. So, do you have another EM form? So you'll go to a place like Iowa or Idaho or something like that. And then you'd be there for 6 to 9 months at a time. And you'd be there for 6 to 9 months at a time, all the way up until your 19th birthday. So you're not actually going to TJJD, but if you are refusing to accept supervision and follow the rules like you're supposed to, then I have no problem committing you to these placements. All right. They're not pleasant, but as long as you're going to do your own thing, then it's my job to help you understand why you actually have to follow the rules. Okay. So I'm giving you this chance because the department's asking for this, right? I'm going to order an electronic monitor. And as you're getting a little bit older, I'm hoping that you're maturing a bit as well, and that you understand the significance that, sometimes, Jeremy, that sometimes you just check out, you're just like, I'm done with you. Like, you have people like that in your life, right? I'm getting pretty close to that point with you. Like at a certain point, I'm done with you. We just need to place them out of state, and we'll see if 6 to 9 months. If that doesn't fix it, then we'll just do it again, and we'll do it over and over all the way to your 19th birthday. All right. So just so you know where you stand in the big picture of things and what I'm expecting from you. Now, that being said, I hope you turn this into a positive experience. What I mean by that is good decisions come from experience, and experience comes from bad decisions. The alleged assault, don't know what happened. If it's true, horrible decision. Runaway, don't know if it actually happened. If it's true, horrible decision. But these are both opportunities that you can take to now have that experience and start making better decisions. Okay? All right. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
May I be
Jalen
released?
Reed. Are the parents coming? There we go. All right, Mr. Reed. Interesting to see you again. I just felt like I saw you maybe within a couple weeks ago. All right, so currently you're on probation for evading arrest. Ms. Washington, didn't we have a modification recently with Mr. Reed?
The petition had been filed. There was a petition that was filed back in. It was earlier this year. I think back in March. I can't hardly read this.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, March. There's a DTA. Oh, so we filed the VOCO.
Yes.
And that was based on,
Him leaving TYRC, Your Honor. He was placed in TYRC residential program on the 26th of.
oh, that's right. He walked out.
Yeah,
and he
he
wanted
ran
one more
away.
chance.
Yes, Your Honor. He's been on abscond status since that time.
Yes. All right. So then yesterday, let's see, Forest Hill Police trying to locate a stolen vehicle. Vehicle had a tracker in it. So police found the vehicle over here on Ray Street. Okay. Oh. Is Hamrick's not here?
don't see her.
Is it Ray? Attorney for today? Okay, Mr. Hall,
Yes,
I don't see Ms. Hamrick here, so can you fill in, please?
sure.
Just to make sure he has counsel, so I don't roughshod over his rights. All right, so Mr. Reed, this is a detention hearing. I need to make a decision to keep you in custody or release you. If I keep you in custody, you have to see a judge every 10 days. We've had this conversation before. All right, you have the right to remain silent, but if you give up that right, anything you say at a detention hearing cannot be used against you at any other type of court setting. You have the right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I'll provide one for you. All right, so it's either a stolen car, there's a vehicle tracker, they located the car. Found a video from Fort Worth City cameras over at Lake Arlington and saw the 3 suspects taking the vehicle, saw throwing all the victim's personal stuff out of the vehicle and posing with a Browning 30-06 rifle. And then Jalen Reed was identified. Do we, Ms. Washer, how do we know how he was, who identified him?
It doesn't say, Your Honor. It just said that, according to the officers, that he was, I believe, on the passenger side, that Jalen was seen on the passenger front seat.
Like who saw, the police officer saw?
I assume that's who it is. That's according to the report.
Okay, I need a statement affirmatively saying who. I mean, we can't assume for probable cause. All right, so officers gave order for the suspect to stop but did not comply. 2 were transported to 350 West Belknap. Jalen Reed was arrested and transported to Kimbo Road for theft of property and evading arrest. But we had a DTA for him?
Yes, Your Honor. We had the DTA issued when he left from T1.
Right.
Yes, Your
Okay,
Honor.
so this is interesting. So, Ms. Washington, you may want to clear up. I don't think there's enough probable cause to identify him in the car because we don't know who actually saw him in the car, but we have a DTA because he walked out of TYRC. So, Mr. Reed, you can't walk out of TYRC. That was the deal that we made. You asked for one more chance. That's what you asked me for. I gave you that chance and you walked out. And so now there's other stuff coming through, evading arrest and the vehicle. I don't know if it's going to stick or not, but at this point, we never went to. Mary, let's go ahead and set this one fairly quick. He asked for that one last chance. We're running out of time. Because he's, we don't have much time left to help him. He's on misdemeanor probation. Who's here from the state? Is it Ms. Smith? All right. Okay. This is what I'm gonna do, Ms. Smith, is I want to set this one in 14 days. Okay, if y'all can get that petition filed, and I'd rather just kind of accelerate this one. We're just running out of time. He turns 17 in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So we're just real limited on what can happen with Mr. Reed. I think we need to act quickly. The sands are starting to run out on this child. Okay.
I'll put a note in here, and it doesn't look like it's been referred to as yet, but when it gets assigned to whoever has it, they'll see the note and request the DME from the agency.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Reed, I'm just deeply concerned about the decisions that you're making. Especially, I remember that conversation we had when you asked for that other chance to go back to QRC. And I think I told you, I don't think you're going to make it, but if you're asking, I can give it to you. And I gave it to you and you walked out. So at this point, I'm detaining you. Not for the new stuff, but for the old stuff. You're on probation already and you walk out of the placement, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Reed.
All right, you too.
Okay, so at this point, there are 10-day hearings going forward. I wanted to handle the original one today because there's so many kids that I actually recognize from previous settings. So Judge Terry will be here momentarily. Thank you.
Switch chair out on the left. All right.
everyone. We will start now with, are you Amari and Barbie?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Adoniji is on. You can unmute yourself, sir, and Ms. Live. There you are. All right. This is an attention hearing that your attorney requested. Remember, at your detention hearings, you have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of hearing. I can only consider it for purposes of detention. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you have a right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Adoniji, is here on the screen. Do you see him?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you also have a right to have your hearing recorded, and Mr. Adoniji will let me know if he would like that. And with that, Mr. Adoniji, you requested it, so can you let me know why we're here today?
Well, the last time we were here, the judge, I don't know if it was you, indicated that because of the circumstances of him coming to the detention is going to keep him, but if he maintains level 1 outstanding, he will reconsider. So he's been on level 1 since the 18th and up till now. So that's
okay.
Why,
what did I say? I know he's on level 1 now, but what were you saying that was said about his level?
that if he maintains level 1 outstanding for a period, he will be reconsidered for release.
Let me look at my notes because it sounds like he just had one. He's only been here 7 days. I don't think I would have considered releasing him early. Let me just double check my notes.
They indicate how many days he will be on level 1 outstanding. So
just a minute, sir. Oh yeah, that was Judge Porter, and I remember it though because I was on the Zoom hearing helping manage the participants. So I remember this one. That is not in Judge Porter's notes, nor do I recall hearing that, but I will take a look at this. So Marion, you were referred in custody by Arlington PD on the 14th of May, which was last week, for possession of marijuana. According to the report on that day at approximately 2:28 a.m. So right now you're 16-year-old, alleged possession of marijuana. You're out in the middle of the night. Officers were on patrol at the racetrack. Black males outside the parking lot at the gas pumps. The males quickly got into a white Nissan Sentra and exited the parking lot through a designated one-way entrance, going the wrong way. And officers observed other minor traffic violation. Officers then followed the vehicle to do a traffic stop, ran the plates, and the vehicle came up as stolen. Due to it being stolen and for their own safety, officers drew their weapons and went ordering vehicle's occupants to exit the vehicle. Marion was the right backseat passenger in the vehicle. When he was frisked for weapons, officers found a plastic jar containing a usable amount of raw marijuana and a digital scale in his pants pocket. No weapons were found in his possession in the search. Marion was transported to our detention facility without incident. He was positive for THC, amphetamines, and methamphetamines. I remember his mom was here last time. Is she here again now?
she's not, I don't think she's
Oh,
here.
I see her. Someone waving. Is that?
Oh, she's here.
That's Mom.
It's
It's
Brun.
Lachey Abram. I'm
Okay.
here.
Hi, ma'am. I remember last time you saying that something about that. Was that vehicle had been sitting outside in your driveway? You didn't recognize it?
It was his friend told me it was his girlfriend's car. It was at his mom's house. He took me to the store in the car.
Okay.
We didn't know the car was stolen.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. I thought that's what I remembered. I remember sitting in on this hearing before the first time. What, Mr. Are you surprised I have a good memory, Mr. Adonishi?
No, the story is just funny that she's saying it all over again.
Yeah. The boy's mama said the car was parked at her house for a few days, and
I remember that. I remember that because I remember having questions in my head for her, not for you, because I feel like you're being honest.
yeah, he came and got me and took me to the store and everything. I said, "Oh my God, you You know what they would have did to me if they had caught me in a stolen car at 39? They would have slammed me down.
Yeah, that's what bothers me the most too, ma'am, is that I don't know what your son knew or whatever, but you really could have been in a position that way because of these kids. And I don't recall the conversation you had with Judge Porter. Are you, was he home with you that night? Why is he out in the middle of the night?
I was at work.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I was at work.
So you don't have anyone to supervise him at home, do you?
No, we moved back in with my parents.
Okay.
They're both retired.
Okay. Well,
So,
and they're, I'm sure,
no.
older. They don't want to have to worry about having their 16-year-old grandson running around in the middle of the night sneaking out.
No, he don't do that here. He don't do that with them.
Oh, so you have since then you have moved back in with your parents?
Yes, I was saying they put us out because of the COVID. My parents said they 62, and since I go to work, they go to school and everything, they didn't want to catch the COVID, so they put us out.
Okay, but when this
They
happened
let us
last
come back.
week, this happened last week, you were not living at your parents' house?
No.
Okay. Do you think that he would respect his grandparents and not try to sneak out on them?
He definitely respects his grandparents, 100%.
Because if he doesn't respect you while you're out trying to earn a living.
I was at work, and of course, the guy who was driving is 21, so he's a little too old for Amarian to be hanging out.
I don't care about that guy. I don't care about him right now, but thank you. Yeah, and you're right. Amarian shouldn't be hanging out with a grown man who's really not being a man. He's out there being a thug. Sounds like to me. So,
I think if you release him on an ankle monitor, that way he can come and finish his schoolwork, because he only has about 4 more classes to finish before he's a senior, and he has time until June the 1st to finish all of his work.
And does he have internet access and a computer available at your parents' house?
Yes, he has his laptop in his bedroom.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to talk to him for a minute.
Okay.
Mr. Barbie.
Yeah.
You think you can handle staying at your grandparents' home and not disrespecting them by sneaking out, running around?
Yes, ma'am.
And if I release you, you're gonna go home and you're gonna catch up on schoolwork.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, don't just tell me what I want to hear, because if you say that, I'm gonna hold you to it. And we're gonna make a note here, and we'll remember that you're gonna have to produce something from your school, some sort of printout that indicates that your work was being done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, so don't overpromise, because I know kids right now. You're probably behind in school, right?
No, I'm on track.
Really? So since the COVID in school's been out, you've been doing your schoolwork?
Yeah. I just made a dumb mistake.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I mean, you're probably one of the few kids I know who's actually staying on top of his schoolwork right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that tells me you know what you're supposed to do. And, these kind of dumb mistakes, hopefully this is it, because it looks like you made dumb mistakes last year, too.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're about to be 17 soon, so if you continue to make dumb mistakes, you're going to be downtown.
Yes, ma'am.
And it won't matter if you got your homework done or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you're going to put yourself on a different trajectory. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
That's going to be really difficult to come back from.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you got to level 1 outstanding as soon as you could here.
Yes, ma'am.
No weapons in your possession. Oh wow, looks like you have a history. It looks like you like to go on in vehicles that aren't authorized to be used. You're gonna need to stay home. I'm gonna put you on an ankle monitor.
Yes, ma'am.
At your grandparents' house only. If you guys attend a church, you can do that only. And you are going to have to provide to your PO some sort of printout that indicates that you have that you've completed your schooling for this year, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Because telling me you're gonna go home and do your schoolwork, and that's the reason I need you to go, that's a good reason. But if you're not gonna do it, it's not a reason.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so I'm gonna hold you to that. And, all right, Mom, can you make sure that that gets provided to his PO?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're gonna be on a monitor. And I expect you, if you can do level 1.0 here for people that you don't know, for strangers, I expect you to do level 1.0 plus for your grandparents and your mom at home.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
You will.
Is that a release, Judge?
Pardon?
Is that a release?
Yes, on a monitor.
I just didn't hear the magic word.
Yes. I'm gonna let him go on a monitor.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
All right,
you.
I'm on my way.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Judge, am I free to go?
Let me check here. It looks like you are, Mr. Adenishi. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Okay. We should have Marianne Collins here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to move closer to the laptop and speak up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Keenan is here, and Ms. Alonso. I know I saw you somewhere.
Yes.
There you are.
And Mother is here as well. There's Maya Jones on the upper left side.
Okay, I see her there. She's right in the middle here. All right. Well, all right, Ms. Jones, you're here. It seems to be quiet there now. Otherwise, if I mute you, don't be offended. It's just I need to keep the background noise down, okay? All right, so Mr. Collins, this is your detention hearing. I met you when you were originally brought in. I'm Judge Terry. The purpose of this hearing is to decide whether or not I should keep you detained or I should send you back home to your mother, okay? You have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of proceeding. I can only consider it for purposes of detention. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you have a right to an attorney. And in fact, your attorney is present here, and her name is Ms. Perkins. Do you see her on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You have a right to have your hearing recorded, and if you'd like that, then Ms. Perkins will let me know. See, now I'm messed up again, Ms. Keenan Perkins, because
It's
I'm reading
okay.
Keenan, and I see Perkins on Zoom every time. Okay, so he's level 3 confined as of today. And so I don't really know what else there is to discuss. I think, Mr. Collins, I'm beginning to think you like being here. I know last time I saw you, you punched the computer screen and you caused everybody else around you, well, not around you physically, but everyone else on this hearing, wherever they're at, to have a delay in their day because we had to get the computer screen back working again. And now I see that you are level 3 confined. So that just tells me you just like being here. You're not giving me anything to work with at all. You've got adjudication disposition set with Judge Porter on the 28th, and so I'm going to go ahead and keep you detained. Because of your behavior level, let me be clear. Thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, should be Mr. Fernandez next.
Yes.
All right, that's Ms. Herrick. I see you. Oh, I think we pulled the trigger at the same time.
Yes.
And Mr. Victorson. Okay, there you go. Okay, Mr. Fernandez, this is your 10-day detention hearing. Purpose of this is to determine whether you will go home with a parent or a guardian today, or if I will keep you here in detention a little while longer. You have the right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of proceeding here. I can only consider it for purposes of detention. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Yes, okay, I'm gonna need you to speak up when you do speak, okay? You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney here is present, Ms. Herrick, on the screen. Do you see her?
Yes.
All right. You have the right to have your hearing recorded, and if you want to do that, Ms. Herrick will let me know that, okay? Looks like you, oh, wow, you just turned 17 right before you were brought in. Let's see if I have a note on your file. All right, what parent is here? Is that mom or is that dad?
Mom and stepdad.
Mom and stepdad, okay. Didn't know if it was dad and stepmom or mom and stepdad, so, all right, thank you. Let's see, remember that I wanted him detained also because he was positive for marijuana when he came in. Has a history of testing positive for marijuana. So level 1 acceptable. Oh, yes, I recall this. And so I remember that you were here because on December 18th, 2019, Fort Worth PD were dispatched to an address in Fort Worth regarding a robbery call. They arrived, met with the victim, and who planned to meet someone named Pedro to buy a gram of marijuana. He met with Pedro through a mutual friend via Snapchat, and Pedro gave him instructions to meet behind an elementary school, West Creek Elementary. He drove the car behind the school and observed 4 people sitting on a curb. Approached the vehicle, and one suspect got out of the front passenger seat, another one got out of the back, and the other 2 remained outside the car. Victim explained that got in the front passenger, and they got in the back seat. The other 2 remained out. 3 of the 4 displayed handguns. Suspect in the front seat punched him in the face twice and demanded his phone. He also demanded he change the passcode so that he could see him doing that. He took $15, keys from the victim. Other suspects punched him approximately 4 times. Suspect outside the car closest to the victim pointed his weapon at him. On December 20th, 2 days later, police were dispatched to an address where the stolen phone pinged. Officers approached the Chevy pickup and found 4 young men inside the truck. As they approached, they smelled a strong odor of marijuana, and one of the men in the pickup looked identical to one of the young men in the Snapchat video. Detectives used the Snapchat account to identify the suspects in the robbery and learned that the 4 young men in the photos associated with the account were the same 4 young men that allegedly robbed the victim. The account had several photos and a video of the 4 young men displaying marijuana and pointing handguns at the video camera. The victim identified the 4 as people that robbed him. Jose's mother was also shown in the video and identified you. That's right, your mom identified you as being one of the men in the video. It's unclear whether or not you had the gun. I don't know if I asked you this before, but it's no question. Obviously, you do smoke marijuana, Mr. Fernandez. So I don't recall. When is the last time you used marijuana before you were brought in?
I think it was like a week.
A week. And how often before you were brought back in? How often do you smoke marijuana?
Not that much.
Not that much. Like a little bit every day, every couple days, once a week.
Like every couple days.
Every couple days?
Yes.
How many times a day?
Once.
Okay. Because the marijuana seems to be an ongoing issue, you're at level 1 acceptable, which is good, but our standard for you is definitely gonna be level 1 outstanding, and it is for most of the kids that are brought in. So you need to get to level 1 outstanding. You need to hold it for 10 days. And I also want to make sure that you are screened and you test negative prior to releasing you, so that we know if you do come back in, we know that it wasn't residual from before, that you were clean when you left here, okay? So there'll be no question next time if you're clean or dirty, if there's a next time. Or when you release, you may be subject to random UAs, and then we'll know if you test dirty that you were out there doing that, as opposed to it being residual from here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I want you to maintain level 1 outstanding for 10 days. And I also want you to, before we can release you, you're going to have to be clean, okay?
Yes.
Right, so I'm gonna keep you detained. Thank you.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Herrick.
Thank you.
Should be Mr. McCullen Williams next. Did Judge Kim do the last two? I mean, the originals, so but the last anyway. So yeah, I'll just do those. Okay, do we have a parent here on this one?
Yes, Mom is here. She should be walking in.
Fill it, and who else am I looking for? Mr. Nava? Yeah. Okay, is Mom
Yes,
here in the
Mom.
building, or is she on the screen?
She's in the building.
Okay, I'm just waiting for her then.
Oh.
Have anything from probation on him? I don't have a report. And maybe it wasn't, maybe it just wasn't printed yet because it wasn't sent when we put these together. So we'll see. Mary, if you have it in the email, maybe you can just email it to me. I can read it from the.
The mom's not in the front or the back lobby, so I don't know where she went.
All right, well, what's Mom's name?
Let me pull it up right quick. And her last name is Miss McClellan Williams. Let me pull her up.
I have the wrong. Why do I have stuff for 9 and 8? Oh, okay. He's under 14? No. Okay. Do that one last then. Actually, sorry. I do have an offense report for this one. The other one, the one I just mentioned, is the one I don't have an offense report for. So I apologize, Mr. Nava. We do have it. Just had these in the wrong order. Okay. All right. Well, I guess if Mr. Nava, mom was in the building, you said?
Yes. If you don't mind, I can give her a quick phone call just to
Well,
let
I
her
think my bailiff went to try to figure that out too. But yeah, you can go ahead and try that, or shoot her a text or something. But she knows what's going on today, so.
Gotcha.
I'll just be in the restroom. All right, I'll go ahead and begin with his management. So, Mr. McClellan Williams, this is your 10-day detention hearing. And the purpose of this is to determine whether or not you should be released to your parent or guardian, or if I should keep you detained here in Kimbo for a little while longer. You have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of proceeding. I can only consider it for purposes of detention. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you have a right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Willett, is here on the screen. Do you see him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you also have a right to have this hearing recorded. And if you choose that, Mr. Willett will let me know that. Just wait just a few more minutes to see if your mom is.
Mom is walking in. I just got contact with her.
Okay, good.
Let's see what mom looks like.
All right, thank you.
There we go.
All right, so she's back here, so we'll go ahead and get started. So, Mr. McClellan Williams, I remember why you were brought in. It was for burglary of vehicles and theft of property that allegedly occurred on May 6th, around 3 in the morning in Arlington. Mr. Nava is the companion on this. Is he downtown?
He was downtown the day Anajian's initial hearing. The day after, I searched him again, and he was no longer listed in downtown.
Okay. So you've been level 1 outstanding, Mr. McClellan Williams, since the 11th, so for the past 10 days. It looks like as soon as he could get there, he got there. And I remember I did tell you that I would look at releasing you if you were, if you maintained level 1 outstanding. And Mom, remind me what your work schedule is.
Right now, I'm working from home from 7 to 4.
Okay. And when do you anticipate going back to work? Like physical location?
I don't know right now. They haven't notified us, so I'm not sure.
Okay. And remind me again, how many other people are in your home?
I have 2 other children.
Okay. Are they older or younger than?
They're older. He's the youngest.
Okay. And are they able to help keep an eye on him if I were to release him?
Oh, I will be there. You don't have to worry about it. But
Oh,
yeah,
well, I'm worried about when you have to go back to work, like when you have to physically go back to work.
no, you don't have to worry about that either. Someone will be there 24/7.
Now, I recall what you said about one of his teachers last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall, and this person that he was with that night, that wasn't one of his teachers, was it?
No, that was not.
Okay, Mr. McClellan Williams, you have done what I've asked you to do, okay? Which tells me you can commit to following some rules, all right, and following orders. I want you to remember that these adults that you run around with are not your friends, okay? 14-year-olds don't have adult friends. You got an aunt or uncle or a mentor, family friend, someone you look up to, that's a mentor. It's not even really your friend either, that's a mentor, that's different, okay? Someone you have a close relationship with who's an adult. But someone running around with you like this, that's just a child trapped in an adult's body, all right? That they are not looking out for your best interest. 14-year-olds have teenage friends, okay? They don't have adult friends.
Yes, ma'am.
And I need you to keep it that way because it's for your own protection and it's for the safety of the public too.
Yes,
So I need you to promise me that if I release you, you're not gonna be running around like that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I promise you.
Right, now, how behind are you in school because of this COVID stuff?
Not here.
Whoever has their voicemail or something going on in the background, please mute that yourself. All right. So, Mr. McWilliams, the noise, I couldn't hear you because of the noise. How far behind are you in school right now?
Not really behind. I've been doing my work in here, and then I have a computer that my mom brought. I got a computer, and I have everything that I need at home.
Okay, try to scoot up so I can hear you better. But what I think you said is that you've been keeping up with your schoolwork, basically.
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
my mom brought a computer, and I got everything I need at home, and she's in contact with all my teachers.
Okay, great, Mom. Okay, and so there's probably only a few more days left of school. And so I need you to get home and get on top of that.
Yes, ma'am.
And focus on that because you're going to need something to do because I am going to send you home on a monitor.
Okay, yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Because I don't want you, I'm looking at a little bit of your history and stuff. I need to rein you in a bit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? And so you need to be kept at home.
Okay.
I don't even care when the COVID's lifted or whatever goes on with that. You're still staying at home because you're going to be on a monitor, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
If you guys go to church on Sunday, you may do that.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
that's about it. Do you guys live in a house? I can't remember. Are you in an apartment?
A house, ma'am.
You're in a house? Okay, so if you want some fresh air or something, you're going to stay in the garage. You're going to open the garage door and you can sit in the garage. But you are not going out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, then I will go ahead and release you on a monitor.
Can I ask you a question, ma'am?
Sure.
On the way to my house, is it okay if I stop to get something to eat, just right from my house or anything like that?
Stop to get something to eat?
Yes, ma'am.
That's up to your mom. I will leave that up to your mom if she thinks that she should be buying you something to eat right now, okay? That's up to her. And so, Mr. Nava, Mr. Nava, you know where they live and how long it should take on the way home.
Yes, ma'am.
You know how long that detour should take,
Yes.
right? I mean, you only been here, that brings up a good point, Mr. McClellan Williams. You've been here 15 days and you're missing the food out there.
Yes, ma'am.
So do not disappoint me because I will remember that. Mary, will you make a note of that? That he misses the food out there?
Yes, ma'am.
And don't make me take that food away from you for longer, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.
Have a blessed day, everybody. Thank
You too. You be good.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Mr. McClellan, I'll meet you outside.
Okay.
get food. Can we get food? I want food. I'm hungry. All right, let's see. All right, so we have an add-on here for Anaya Mason. Let's rip, there you are. Who is Ms. Mason's PO?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, there she is. And whoever's in the back there, after we finish this hearing, do not bring in the next child until I say so, okay? Now, Anaya, you're fine, but after Anaya, do not bring in the next child until I've given the clear.
Your Honor, she has a parent. I don't know. I'm trying to text mom to tell her.
Is there a parent on the Zoom, on a remote location?
Juvenile facility.
Okay,
she's
she's
in the lobby. I guess, Rick, can you get the parent, please? I don't know if he can hear me. He's going to. Rick, can you get the mom for Anaya Mason?
I've been asking for potatoes for a year. Me too. All right, is mom ready now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me see this one.
She got her hair braided.
All right, thanks. I'm just trying to figure out why this one was added on for today, but I got it. So.
Well, I'd like to know too.
Well, apparently you guys had an initial setting for adjudication and disposition today, which of course is reset. They usually are when it's the first setting. And apparently she was set for a detention hearing tomorrow. And so rather than have everybody come back tomorrow, since you were already here, we just figured in the interest of judicial efficiency and efficiency for all the parties to have it done today.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yes. All right, so Ms. Mason, this is your 10-day detention hearing. Remember that you have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of proceeding. I can only consider it for purposes of detention. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, and the purpose of this hearing is to determine whether you'll be released to your parent or guardian while your case is pending, or if I should keep you here in Kimball a little longer. And you have a right to an attorney. In fact, your attorney has been retained and she is here on the screen. Do you see her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I don't need one of these then, right? Okay. You also have a right to have this hearing recorded. And if you would like that, then your attorney will let me know.
I would like it recorded.
Okay. And I will do that. And it is recording on the Zoom app. And as a reminder, recording or reproducing any part of this hearing is prohibited by law, unless the court is doing it. It's prohibited by law, and a violation of that is punishable by a finding of contempt in this court. Okay, Naya, let's see. You were referred in custody on the 8th of April, 2020. The Fort Worth Police Department for the alleged offense of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of aggravated robbery. They met with a victim who believed she was set up by you, and the victim was the girlfriend of your roommate. Victim advised that Anaya was hanging out at the apartment with Carlos. When the victim came out of the bathroom, there were 3 males armed with handguns wearing masks and hoodies in the living room. The victim said one of the males put a gun to her head, and just as the suspects were leaving, a friend of the victim was entering the apartment. A friend attempted to run and was chased and shot at by the suspects. The victim and Carlos chased after the car and were shot by the suspects. And Ms. Turner-Hill, on the offense report, it says Carol's, but I'm assuming that's a typo and it's supposed to be Carlos.
Yes, the boyfriend, that's where Anaya was. She was at her boyfriend's house.
Right.
And he goes by Amado or Carlos. And I should have changed that to his legal name, which is Amado.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm talking about the first paragraph, second to the last sentence. It says Carol's, but I assume you meant to type Carlos.
Yes,
or Amado.
Carlos and Amado are the same person.
Okay. So the victim and Carlos chased after the car and were also shot at by the suspects. The report does not indicate if anyone was shot.
No one was.
On March 3rd, 2020, Anaya's mother met with Burleson PD and advised she had information on a robbery. She provided officers information about the suspects who were involved in the robbery. Anaya told her mother Carson Dees, the suspect, wanted her to set up Amado, her boyfriend, for a robbery. Anaya told her mother that she refused to cooperate. On March 9th, 2020, Carson was arrested for an unrelated capital murder warrant. During the execution of the warrant, the officer seized Carson's cell phone. Cell phone records showed, I remember this one, showed a conversation between Anaya and Carson Dees the day of the robbery. During the text conversation, Carson Dees and Anaya developed a plan to rob Amado, her boyfriend, again, of drugs and money. Anaya sent Carson Dees a picture of her boyfriend's car and his address. She informed Carson Dees that she would leave the door unlocked and she planned to get half the drugs for her role in the robbery. Carson Dees and Anaya also texted each other right before the robbery occurred, confirming what time Carson would be there. On March 1st and March 2nd of 2020, Anaya and Carson began texting each other about who called the police and that the police were looking for Carson. There was a video of Anaya, Carson, and the other suspects in the same vehicle 30 minutes after the robbery occurred, wearing the same clothes, flashing a handgun, and a black backpack with drugs and money. An arrest warrant was signed on April 3rd, 2020, and executed on April 8th, 2020. And there would be no drug test history. She has no history with the department, is that correct?
Correct.
Grand jury has approved the determinant sentence. Okay, so her behavioral, she's been here 43 days. Her behavior level is 1 outstanding as of May 17th. And so, Ms. Turner-Hill, can you kind of explain what her behavior pattern has been here?
Yes, ma'am. She's been pretty consistent for the most part. Trying to get it to pull up. I'm showing that she dropped to a 1 acceptable on the 16th, but prior to then she was a 1 outstanding. And it says it was a 1 acceptable. Let me see. I'm looking at her infractions. So starting on May the 15th, it was looking outside, looking out window and talking on 5/15. Arguing with staff, redirected 2 times. May 16th, looking in another resident's room. May 19th, talking across the pod to another resident. Also May 19th, standing in doorway. May 19th, argumentative upon redirection. May 19th, manipulation of staff, and then May 20th, looking into Pier's room. But prior to that, she's been pretty consistent on being level
Ms.
1.
Mason, I'm sorry, Ms. Turner. Ms. Mason, you're not cute. Okay, don't interrupt. Put him. It's not your turn.
Okay.
Put him down. Don't flash those things smiling at me. This is not playtime. This is not playtime. It's not you've not been called on. See? Do you want to talk over me or do you want to follow the order of proceedings here?
I'm following the order. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Turner Hill.
That's everything. The last one was on May 20th for looking into Pier's room.
Okay. Mary, has it been reset yet? No. Okay. Is there something else you about that in this one pretty quickly or not? And she's new to routine, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, Ms. Lothorpe, excuse me. Go ahead.
Thank you. My turn?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I do believe my client, she was confused because she's sitting here with at least 5 certificates of level 1. He has been here since April 8th and has stayed on level 1 behavior throughout. As you noted earlier, she has never been in trouble with this department in the law, never been in trouble at school. And her parents feel that, and we can call mom, but mom would testify that she minds her at home. Now there was, the boys in question on this case were the masterminds in using my client to get information to find out when her boyfriend would be home. They were feeding her with the street calls quad bars or bars, which is Xanax. And so she was under the influence at the time of doing this act. If you're familiar with the results, it usually takes away all logical thought process during that time. When mom found out at the end, before she actually got picked up, she put her in Mesa Springs for drug treatment just before. And so other than that, that's, her taking the drugs, there was never a problem from her before this. So my client has been there, like I said, for quite some days, has never been released. And we would like to propose ankle monitor, house arrest, so that she can get back and see what she can do for school. And wait, we did think today was a hearing date. I've been online since 9:30. I appreciate the court at least allowing us to do this a day ahead because she thought she had a hearing also today. I am working with the prosecutor on trying to work out something on the case. And we were kind of close. We spoke last night, but I think we haven't firmed up anything yet. So while we're waiting for these decisions to be made, I'd ask that she give a chance to show she can behave herself at home. That way it can go into the process of the sentencing that she will receive. Again, it sounds like she's the mastermind, but all the boys that were involved are facing charges separate from her, a capital murder. So they were very dangerous older guys that was influencing her. And she willingly went along with that. I'm not trying to deplete that she wasn't a party by providing information to help them. The goal was to rob for a drug dealer's house. And so they were trying to get the drugs and using her to get that information to find out when it would be safe. She never had a weapon. She tried to, and it was clear by her messages that she didn't really, at the end, didn't want nothing to do with it. So she was told to go hide in the room while they did it. So she didn't actually follow through in the act of it, just in the participation of planning. And so I'd asked the court to finally give her a chance to show that she can do a good job at home, so we can work, so I can work with the assistant district attorney on whether this will be a probation or a jail time offer, a prison time offer.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Lothorpe. Ms. Smith, what's your position on this?
Your Honor, my position is that the state would ask that she be detained. She's a danger to the community, but to also herself. She's never had any contact with the department previously, but as Ms. Lothorpe mentioned, she was on drugs, but she has admitted to being on all types of drugs, marijuana, Xanax, and if we want to talk about the text messages, she wanted to know what she was going to get out of this aggravated robbery. She wanted to know if she was getting weed, if she was getting money. So she's not quite as innocent as she's being portrayed to be. She didn't have a gun, but that wasn't the plan. She was the person to let them into the apartment and then fled with them afterwards and is sitting in a car having videos flashing money and guns. One of the co-respondents is facing a capital murder charge, but two of the other ones are facing only aggravated robberies in connection with this charge, just like Ms. Mason is. For those reasons, we would ask that she be detained.
All right, thank you, Ms. Smith. Yeah, that's, I mean, and I didn't even need that many details because here's the thing, I'm just trying to determine whether or not I can trust Anaya not to be a danger to herself or the community by sending her home with her mom today. There's so much with this one. Hang on, Mom. I know you're there, Mom. I know you're upset. Did you have a question?
I just wanted to say something.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I know that I don't ever take away from what she done. I don't. I promise I don't. I need everybody to understand. I know what she's done is wrong. But that's
I believe you because you're the one that contacted the police.
Right. And I know the drug use, I had her in services before she got arrested through MHMR. And then she got arrested. So she was doing counseling. She was doing the stuff that I needed her to do. I just wish that y'all would give her a chance to show you what she could really do.
I understand, ma'am. She's lucky that she has you. And to be quite honest with you, you're the reason that I'm considering releasing her right now. I'm even spending time on her right now. Okay.
I have surgery once a week, and she's been a big help before she was even arrested. She's been a big help, helping me get in and out of the bed because I had severe damage to my arm. I got severely hurt at work. And then I just had gallbladder surgery. So without her, she's just like a major help to me. And I know bad things happen. People make bad choices, but ultimately that's not always who they are. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing, man. That's what's scary with your daughter right now, whatever she's going through, because she is good for you and she's a good help and stuff. But meanwhile, somehow she connected with the group of people where one of them is downtown for capital murder.
Yeah,
she's getting drugs supplied to her. Somehow she ended up there. So it doesn't matter if she's an angel at home to me. When she's out in the community, she's a danger to herself and other people.
Right.
So, but I understand. I'm hearing you. So let me just finish with her.
Okay.
There's so much going on here because Ms. Mason, your behavior has been pretty good the whole time you've been here.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you've earned those certificates, but you know what? You were good at home too, unless you weren't. And this is really, really serious. You were not a victim here. I'm not buying that for 1 second. I've not heard anybody tell me, and of course I haven't seen all the evidence or heard it or anything, and I won't. Judge Kim will do your adjudication. But I haven't heard one thing any of the times that I've seen you that indicates that you were any kind of victim here. Okay, just being the female doesn't make you the victim.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Right? And I'm sure Judge Cameron, one of the other ones, has explained to you about the law of parties. Have you heard of that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so it doesn't matter that you were hiding in the room. You helped them plan it. You went there. Just because you were hiding in another room doesn't mean you're not responsible for what they did while you were there. Okay? You are equally responsible.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
And I know you didn't regret it right after because you're in the car taking videos and pictures or whatever, kind of showing off your prize or your award, whatever you got. Okay? So if I release you, I don't want you to think it's because I'm buying the story that you're an innocent victim here.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
And that these boys are somehow taking advantage of you. Yes, no, it's very pretty calculated, actually. They know you're a sweet, pretty girl, and they know that your boyfriend trusts you, and they knew they could use you to do this, and you knew you could get something out of it because you knew he would trust you. And that's another bothersome thing. It's not a crime, but what you've done is you have betrayed the trust of somebody who you are supposed to care about, who you claim to. You call your boyfriend, you betrayed him in his own house. That is probably one of the most disrespectful things you can do to someone in their own house.
And I regret
Okay?
it so much.
So I just want you to understand that. I believe that your mom has your best interest at heart, and she knows what's right. Your mom knows right from wrong because she's
Yes,
the one
ma'am.
that is helping to resolve this and is trying to help you.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
So what I want to do is I'm going to give you a chance at home. You are going to be on a monitor, and you're going to finish your schoolwork, whatever's left to do of this school year.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going to know if you did or not because you're going to provide that information to Ms. Turner Hill
Yes,
somehow. Okay, Mom, can you make sure that her PO gets that information?
Yes, because prior to when I went to go speak to the police, I had removed her from that school because that school was one of the main problems too. So
Okay.
I enrolled her in homeschooling. So now that she'll be released, I can go back to homeschooling and say, this is what I need her to do. But I've been in contact with the school prior to this as well, with her principal, because her principal has been a big help to me.
All right, nothing wrong with the homeschooling. And so I just need you to be able to provide proof that she is doing it and she's staying on track.
Okay,
To
I
finish
will.
this school year, okay?
will.
Because she's gonna need something to do because you're not leaving the house, Anaya, okay?
I
I
understand.
don't care if you want to go outside in the driveway or ride your bike or do whatever it is else is that you do. You can sit in the garage, but you are not leaving the building of the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
I have a question. She
Sure,
does,
Mom.
she does have services with MHMR, so can they continue to come to my house and do her services?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. They can come to the house and she needs that and you need that for her.
so much for giving her a chance.
Thank
God
you
bless you.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Well, I'm giving her this because she has a parent like you at home right now. And I know she obviously pulled the wool over your eyes, but I think that you've done everything appropriate and her behavior level has been where it needs to be.
Yes, ma'am, and that's why I immediately went to the police because she knows that that's unacceptable and that's not allowed in my house. And I had a good rapport with her resource officer, so I felt like I needed to.
And so now you are ordered not to have any sort of communications whatsoever with any of the other, whether they're respondents or whether they're defendants downtown. You are to have zero communication, not via text, not via email, not via social media. I don't want to, not via Snapchat, because trust me, those things, you guys think they disappear, they really don't.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So, nothing.
I'm glad that you told
Not,
her. that.
not through a friend of a friend, not through your friend, go tell him this, that I said this or whatever. None of that, okay? None.
And thank
so
you.
I expect you to be on level 1 outstanding behavior at home,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
And
And by level 1 outstanding, I mean to follow all these conditions of release that I've just given you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And thank you,
Yes,
Judge.
and also no contact with the victim at all. Not an apology, nothing, okay? And the same thing goes for that. Not via social media, not some sort of a symbol through social media. Don't even reference them. Don't even reference the nickname via social media. Don't even talk to a friend to tell him you're sorry or whatever you want to say to him, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing, just
Thank you.
nothing.
And thank you, Judge, for allowing her to know that social media does not go away. And I have changed her phone number as well prior to all of this. So there will be no contact. I will monitor that fully.
Oh, Mom that's your phone. I mean, it's her cell phone to use, but that's yours. You provided that cell phone, it is yours.
Okay.
So you can do what you want with it. You can let her use it or you can let her not use it. You
Okay.
can block numbers from it or whatever you want to do, it's yours.
Okay.
You're free to monitor that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not done, Anaya. Hold on. I didn't excuse you yet.
I was about to leave with him too.
I also want her to submit to, well, apparently there are marijuana ferries going around even with kids who are on monitors. So I want her to submit to random drug screens. Okay? All right, that is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I be excused?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Okay, so now for the remainder of the proceedings will be closed proceedings due to the age of the children, and this is allowed under Texas Family Code. And so I am going to stop our live feed on YouTube. I'm going to wait 20 seconds.